So what you see here on the screen is Colab Enterprise. So this is the Google's Vertex AI offering on running your Jupyter notebooks, right? So it's very easy to use, and you basically have the predefined templates. You don't need to prepare even your own containers. Then you can just basically start up and do your experiments, like what you usually do with the Jupyter notebooks. But the problem with this is so by default, you don't get internet access, right? So what many organizations seem to be doing these days is to add CloudNet, which is a Google service. If you have something running on your private network and you want internet access, basically called egress, to get download in this case Python packages, right? When you need to download any pip install of the stuff, you will need internet access, right? But that's not a very secure way to set this up, because you open not only you get access to pip, but you also get access to many other things. So which means everyone can download whatever, and that could be quite risky and expose your organization into unnecessary risk. So what I want to show here is a way that you can set this up in a secure way. You can still download all of the pip packages, but without needing internet through Artifact Registry. So if you look at from the top to bottom here, so I've got things written down for you. So this can be quite useful, and I'll share this as part of the video as well, so you can actually try this out yourself. So first of all, here I'm just validating to make sure you see there's no internet access. I'm just querying my company's domain here. So you see there's nothing here, right? It won't work because there's no internet, right? Going to stop that. So there's few steps involved in setting this up in this way. So first of all, in order to use Artifacts Registry, you need to set the Artifact Registry up in a specific way. So in Artifacts Registry, already set up the repository, which in this case, I've given a name of PyPy, but then you need to choose the format of Python, and you use a remote mode, which basically points, in this case, to the PyPy. So it's almost kind of like a proxy. I'll show you in a minute what it means as a proxy. Because once you created this, right, is ready to use. It's just wrapper, and you don't need to do anything. You don't need to download anything manually. If you go back to Colab, what's happening here is, first of all, if you run this command, it'll tell you what you need to do with your config files. And one is um, this one here that you need to put this stuff. Just follow instruction here. And then the other one, you have the extra index URL. However, there's a problem, right? So in the default setup, I believe you may also have a index URL, which is the default one that may still be pointing to the public one. And then if you don't have internet access, it will block you from there, which will not allow the setup to work. So what you want to do is to change in your pip.conf to make sure it's got index URL instead, the setup to this one that refers or points to Artifact Registry. That's the only thing you need to do in the configurations, right? So the next thing is I want to make sure anything I've got previously installed is removed in this particular case. So now keep in mind, this is interactive. You actually type things in here, right? So this is very important in your initial setup. This Google Artifactory auth thing is a keyring package that allows you to use the application default credentials that exist, that temporary token, typically valid for 1 hour, in this setup. This is very important. So I'm removing this package first, because this is what you're going to see the first time you run it, right? So now if you look at the backend of the keyring, you don't really see the Google one for Python. But what happens next is the first time you want to authenticate is you kind of need to install this keyring package for the Google one, right? So once you have this one, you don't need to enter username and password anymore, right? But you have to do that once. So if you look at this, now I'm entering this thing. You see, the first time I run it, it asked me to put a username and password. So keep in mind, the username isn't your login username, right? It's basically the OAuth 2 access token. So this is the fixed static username. You put that in there, right? And press enter. And the other thing is the password is not your password either. It's the access token, and you can run this on your command line, right? So what you're going to do next is you're going to copy this one in. In this case, obviously you can't see it. I don't want you to see that either. So now you've done the installation of the Artifactory package for Google. If you run the backend again, now you see there's a new one with a higher priority gets added, which is the Google PyAuth. This thing allows you to use the application credential you've generated on this Jupyter notebook, right? It will use that automatically. If you don't do this, it won't use it. It will keep promoting and hinting for you to add username and password. So very important. So now, when you try to install Pedantic, so I'm just using it as example, you can see it's looking for here, right? It's looking for installing from here. And if I change the version of it, just to make sure you see it's actually doing the download. So now we still don't have access to the internet. So you can see it's downloading from artifact registry, right? This is how you can get it to work. So if you go back to artifacts registry, what you would see in this repository is that it has cached all of these packages for you. So it manages all of these things for you, so you don't have to deal with it yourself. Okay, I hope that's useful. I'll share the whole thing with you, and yeah, enjoy. Have a secure setup for Jupyter Notebook.